Hey Oilers! Welcome back to another episode of Campus Update. We saw that most of the school did not get a chance to see last Monday's episode with our internet issues last week, so we put a few segments from that episode into this one as well. First up, I recorded some content from our recent performance playlist to showcase the media side of MMET shows. As some of you may know, a lot of the Campus Update crew is also a part of MMET Media. Whenever we cover MMET shows, we tend to cover the performance aspect of the show rather than the behind the scenes, so I wanted to make a segment covering the hard work that media students do for live shows.
I really liked this show. It was fun and entertaining, and I really liked the originals, and I think working in the auditorium for the first time was really different and exciting.
I think the most rewarding part about being in Playlist or just MMET shows in general is that you're part of something a lot bigger. It was so good. I'm so happy that I was a part of it. It just felt so good to be part of it. I can't describe it.
I liked being the technical director in the show, mainly because the director tells me what to do and then I carry out those procedures.
Show weeks look like little sleep, doing homework at 12 o'clock at night, and a lot of fast food.
My average show week, for Playlist at least, this week we had rehearsals basically until 10, so I'd get home at 10:30, do homework until 4, sleep an hour, wake up for school, head there again, go home at 10, do work till 4, over and over and over again. Pretty
Two, and get ready for it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1. Nice.
I really enjoyed Playlist, but if you didn't get to see it, don't worry. Our next show, Retrofest, is from April 30th until May 2nd. And if you want even more media content, our Film Fest is on May 16th. In other news, we'd like to say congratulations to our HBHS Color Guard who recently traveled to San Diego for the Winter Guard International Regional Competition. This is only the second time that they've gone to this competition in 20 years, and they finished 6th in the finals in a higher division than they normally would, with a team comprised of mostly freshmen and sophomores competing against varsity teams. They were the highest scoring team from Orange County. If you'd like to cheer on the team in person, they have a number of additional competitions coming up locally, and they'd love to see you there. Congrats, you guys. In other news, our marching band and members of APA Council took part in the annual Mardi Gras parade last Tuesday. Let's see what happened.
Hey Oilers! This past Tuesday was Mardi Gras, and around the world, people celebrated with lively parades and carnivals. In celebration, APA Council and Orchestra hosted Huntington's 3rd annual Mardi Gras parade during lunch. During the festivities, council members handed out candy, necklaces, and coins to students, while the orchestra performed various songs around campus. If you decided to celebrate, I hope you had some amazing food.
Thanks, Kate. It was super entertaining to see some appreciation for the arts on campus. Hey, another way to flex your creative art muscles is by entering the Slick News Literary Art Contest.
Are you a writer, poet, screenwriter, photographer, or artist? Here at HB Slick, we're actually doing a Slick Literary Arts section, and students can basically submit their original work for our website. And so we originally had the date to be set on the end of February, but because of students' concerns, we actually moved that deadline to March 20th so that students have more time to submit their work. In order to submit, you can go on our HP Slick website and click on the Submit tab, and you'll basically follow all the instructions and rules that we provide for everybody. If you have any questions, you can come to A24 and talk to Miss Trelise Gordon. Come be a part of Slick!
Remember, the deadline is March 20th, so get your submissions in before then. And if art isn't really your thing, there are tons of other ways to be creative right here on campus through clubs. Connor talked to the Dungeons & Dragons Club to find out more info.
Ever wanted to learn or play Dungeons & Dragons? I took a trip to the club room and met Brandon, who taught me about the game.
Dungeons & Dragons is a tabletop role-playing game, and essentially it is a game where your imagination can just go completely wild. If you're into video games, if you're into stuff like Skyrim, you're into Borderlands and stuff like that, you'll enjoy Dungeons & Dragons. It's a collaborative game where you're playing with other people, and it all takes place in your mind, yet you can do any action that you want to do in the game. The game has rule sets and stuff like that that basically makes it so any character that you create, which is unique to yourself, you can do any action that you want. One of the major goals is actually getting players to start playing, getting new players and getting experienced players to just start getting together playing games. So I think the way we're going to do that is with this new introduction that we're having called Adventures League. Now, Adventures League is a really cool thing where basically we're having a bunch of tables get set up in this room. There's going to be pre-made character sheets, so new players can come in, and also experienced players can come also, and they can bring in character sheets that they want to play. And basically, it's a really cool experience where you're going to have multiple tables playing the same game of Dungeons & Dragons.
Club meetings are every Thursday at lunch, but when Adventurers League begins, it will be both Thursdays and Fridays at lunch. If you're interested in joining, all are welcome every Thursday at Mr. Fritchoff's room B22. There's also a Discord server you can join where the club is organized with reminders of upcoming meetings and events. Hope to see you there.
If you aren't a club person, you can always make your day more interesting with exciting classes, but sometimes you might worry about struggling in those classes, so you can take a summer prep course. Kate's back with some info on the new physics summer prep course.
Hey Oilers, if you plan on taking physics next year, the science department is starting a new physics prep class over the summer. This 2-week class will be taught by Mr. Egan for anyone interested in getting a leg up in regular or AP physics. So far, there's only one class, so if you're interested, sign up as soon as possible.
So this is a summer physics prep class. So it'll be 10 days, 9 to 12 o'clock. We'll do a kind of introduction to math that's going to be used in physics. We'll teach students how to do correct measurements in physics and how to measure things. And then what we'll do is actually the first 2 or 3 chapters we'll go through the mechanics and the basics of it. So kinematics, energy, things like that they will be doing in their first semester. So when they do it in the first semester, they're experienced at it. So it's not the first time they see it. So hopefully it gives them the opportunity just to be more successful faster. Does that make sense?
Thanks, Kate. Prep courses are a great way to fill your summer, but do you know what's not a good way to fill your summer? Vaping. We know you've heard it all before. Vaping is bad for you. Well, for some people, its negative effects can be quick and devastating. Here's a personal story of one girl and how vaping nearly killed her.
One day I passed by a smoke shop and I went in and they asked me how old I was and I said 22 and they just said okay. I was 16 when I started vaping. I was just immediately addicted. It was freshman year. I randomly just started getting migraines. The migraines started turning into nausea every day and then that started turning into throwing up all the time. I had major mood swings. I was aggravated all the time. I was just such a unhappy person. And it was just because every second that I wasn't hitting my vape, I was in pain and I needed it. One day it got so bad and I went to my dad and I said, we need to go to the hospital immediately. I really could feel my breath just leaving my body and I told my dad, don't let me fall asleep, don't let me close my eyes because I'm not going to wake up. I ended up waking up with a tube in my throat in the ICU and I was there for 10 days. It really had an effect on me being back in the world and getting used to doing the things that I wasn't able to do when I was so sick, and getting used to even just eating such a normal everyday thing was something so foreign to me, so I had to learn how to do that. I originally posted the picture on my Snapchat just to show it to my close friends. It spread to so many people around the world. I think vaping is just commercialized as so harmless and so simple, and they're just so dangerous. I think I got the second chance to do this and spread awareness, and this is why I lived from it. Stop the vape.
That's all we have for today. And remember, Oilers, if you missed playlist, RetroFest is from May 30th until May 2nd. And if you can't make it to that, next fall we have our Beatles show on November 6th and 7th. And if you missed that, and if you can't make it to that, we have RetroFest 2021, April 29th through May 1st. And if you missed that...